Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
Welcome back to another episode of the Networking RX podcast. I'm Frank Agin, founder and president of AmSpirit Business Connections. I enjoy car rides. I do, not too far. Couple hours is fine. And part of the reason I like car rides is listening to podcasts. It's hard to, or long walks. I'll take a long walk and listen to podcasts. It's just, I find I can't sit at my desk and listen to a podcast, or there's just too many distractions. But recently I took a ride in the car. I had to go to Cleveland to a meeting, and I pulled up an episode of Hidden Brain. And I was just kind of scrolling through before I got going, like, okay, what do I want to see here? Always looking for things related to relationships. And there was an episode they published, and the host of Hidden Brain is Shankar Vedantam. I don't know if I don't think I said that perfectly correctly, but anyhow, this episode came out January 17th, 2022, and the title of the episode is "What Makes Relationships Thrive." This is a podcast about relationships, so I dug in. And Shankar's guest that week was the gentleman by the name of Harry Reis. And Harry is a professor of psychology, dean of professors in the arts, science, and engineering program at University of Rochester. And it was interesting because what Harry Reis reported in here is his own research, is that we all know that everybody in relationships, for a successful relationship, I should say, is that people want to be loved, they want to be appreciated. And I don't think that's any great revelation there, but what Professor Reis had also articulated, and this is something he found through his research, is that people also like to be understood, and that's a key element of a successful relationship. And it was interesting because he used his own relationship with his first wife, and he described his first wife and the whole situation, and that it obviously didn't work out. If nobody calls their long-term wife their first wife, he has a second wife now, but it didn't work out, and it wasn't because there wasn't love there or appreciation. I'm sure there was, but what he found is they really didn't understand each other. And you can certainly like somebody, love somebody, and not really understand where they're coming from. And that was, what they found is a key piece to relationships, is that people want to be understood. They want to be understood. They want people to understand them. I guess that's, we need to take the time to understand other people. Not just appreciate them, but understand them. Understand what makes them tick. Understand the things that they want. Not just learn about them. And, a lot of this psychology stuff is, in hindsight, it's like, okay, yeah, that's simple. We all know that. It's kind of like working through a maze backwards, right? Yeah, you don't make any mistakes going through a maze backwards, but going through, you have to make decisions whether to go left, right, or straight all the time, and you make mistakes. And so it's easy to look at these studies and these findings and say, oh, yeah, sure, I knew that, understanding, yeah, that's so obvious. It is obvious, but I've never heard it. I've never heard anybody say it. I've never heard anybody really articulate it. Certainly not the way that Harry Reis has done it. But I've thought about it from time to time, and in working with people within AmSpirit Business Connections, I've often told our directors that we need to take the time, or just people in general, you need to take the time to understand the members in the organization. And the organization is mainly made up of entrepreneurs, sales reps, and professionals. And we all assume that people go into business because they want to make money. Business is all about money. And what I have found is that that's really not true. That, yeah, money is part of the equation. We all need money. We all have rent, or we have a mortgage or a car payment. We all have to eat. So money's always a part of the equation. But it's not always the primary driver as to why people go into business. And that we need to take the time to figure out and understand, why is it that people go into business? Why are people doing what they're doing? It's not just to make money. And I have found over the years that there are really four reasons why people go into business. So the people in my organization, certainly the ones I've gotten to know, it's really four things. Yes, one is money. There are people out there, and they'll be a sales rep for a company and then jump to another company just simply because they're going to make more money. It's all about money, and they would go to a whole different profession if they thought they could make more money. It's all about money, and that's fine. But not everybody's like that. Not everybody's like that, and that's why it's good to take the time to understand what people are about. Because if you want to influence people, if you want to motivate people, if you want to help people, then you really need to understand what it is they're about. Again, back to Harry Reis's research, is that people, a successful relationship requires us to understand people. So the other the other three reasons why people might go into business is the next one. I call it equity. People want to build a business. They want to build something they have. They want to build something that they can sell at some point in time, and they're willing to forego money in the short run to make money in the long run. And you see a lot of that with startups. People in startups, they work like dogs. They don't make a whole lot of money. They might get angel investors who are putting millions in, but there are strings attached to that money. You can't just pay yourself a huge salary with the $10 million fund that comes in, puts money into the business. But what they realize is, if I can get this angel investor, if I get this capital coming in, I can grow this thing, and at some point I can cash out for millions of dollars, billions of dollars. Forget the $100,000 or the $200,000, the $250,000 salary. I want the big payday. I want the payday that I never have to work again. And that's why they build a business. It's for that reason. It's money long term, I get it, but it's really the equity of it. The third reason why somebody might build a business is the prestige of it, the accolades of being a business owner. Have a friend who is an attorney, and he doesn't work for a big firm. He's always worked for smaller type outfits, worked for governmental agencies. Smart person. Really a smart person, could probably make a whole lot more money doing something else, but has said, well, listen, I want to be an attorney. I want the prestige of being an attorney. I want to be able to tell people I'm an attorney. I practice law, and there's just, there's something to that. And, I'm a salesperson for ABC company or something like that. Just doesn't ignite him like being able to say, hey, I'm an attorney. And it's good to understand these things, because for someone like that, going to them and saying, hey, here's this other opportunity, they're just not going to be interested in it. Why are you practicing law? Why are you only making that little money? You could make more money if you did this. You're wasting your time. They truly want to be an attorney. Or in the first situation, it's you could make more income if you did this. If you sold it now, you could make income. It's like, no, I'm hanging on for the bigger play. Why are you doing this startup when you could go get a job? You're such a smart person. Because I want to build this thing that my name's attached to, and I can sell it later. And then the fourth thing, first three is, 1, income, 2, equity, 3, the prestige or the accolades of being in business. And then the fourth thing is control, having the control over your life. And for me, that's what it was. I wanted the control. I didn't want to be called at the last minute and saying, hey, this weekend you're working on this or doing this, or we need you to work late or come in early or things like that. Now, I do all those things. I'm not afraid of hard work, but I wanted the control over those things were happening. And you can't necessarily have that when you're working for somebody. So, part of me is just have the ability to have that control, and I've enjoyed it over the years. I've enjoyed it because there really wasn't, my kids growing up, there was really nothing that I ever missed. The only time I missed something is when they, two or more had things going on at the same time, and I had to make a choice. Is really what it boils down to. So control was important for me. And I know it's important for other people who are entrepreneurial types. Just the ability to be able to say, I don't want to work on Fridays. I want to work really hard Monday through Thursday, and don't want to work on Fridays or whatever it might be. I'm going to cut out and go to the movies, and it's always comical because people will call and they'll try to bait me with money. If you do this, and this for me, I'll pay you money. It's like, well, I need money, but I'm not, that takes away time that I have for other things and really kind of limits my control. So anyhow, an important aspect of developing relationships is understanding what people are about. And it's not necessarily why they go into business. That's certainly one aspect. But the more we can understand not just the facts, where they went to college, but why they made the choices, what makes them tick. The more we can understand those things, the better relationships we'll have with the people around us.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.